So, you've been trying to manifest something for the past couple of years, and the future is looking kind of bleak right now. Nothing that you've tried to manifest has come to fruition just yet. But I'm here to tell you why, exactly why those dreams haven't came to just yet on this week's episode of Moving Forward Initiative. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory about myself, as this is the second story to this channel. I want to give you guys a little bit of insight on my life and how it relates to what the topic of this video is about. So, back in the early stages of this thing called life for me, back in 2015 or 2014, I was in another state and I was trying to figure out just myself a little bit more. I was with an ex at a time and we ended up sleeping in my car over almost a year. Not too long, but almost a year. During this time, I needed to figure out on my own how to operate in this world. I felt as though most of my upbringings, I was handed the silver spoon in a way. And in a way, I didn't really know truly how to figure all of this out. So during that time, I didn't have anything else to do, so I did whatever you could to just keep your brain occupied, which was read. So I ended up going to a library that was nearby where I usually kept my car during the night. And in the library, of course, I was trying to figure out which area to go to find books that I liked the most. And I'm not really too much of a fan of fiction, so I just wanted to try to figure out non-fictional kind of things. So I went to, of course, the self-help books to just figure out what to do. And I stumbled across a lot of books like Law of Attraction books and how to get rid of your ego and all of these kinds of things that reshaped my perspective on life as a whole, today and in general. And for the most part, all of the Law of Attraction kinds of books were very appealing to me. I think back then I had just watched The Secret and all of these kinds of things that aligned with that. But it didn't really make sense to me at the time of, okay, so how does this Law of Attraction work? This voodoo magical kind of thing, or just whatever. It didn't make sense to me of how is it going to work, and I'm trying to find the best way to attract these things into my life. Now, during this dark time, as time went on, I could have went back to my mom's house. I had a safety net. I could have easily just went back home to Atlanta and stayed with my mom. But I still wanted to figure out things for my own self. And that's honestly what I did. And due to certain circumstances, I ended up going to my mom eventually. And that ended the path of me living in my car. So push forward, living in my mom's place, I felt like I was pushing backwards and I wasn't getting the things that I was trying to attract into my life. So at the time, I started feeling as though I was almost like a spiritual guru. I felt like I had put myself through the depths of life, and I felt as though anybody that I came in contact with, I just felt like I just knew it all in a way. And I didn't know, I really didn't know at the time that I just was kind of like just being a little bit over myself in a way. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, you didn't really know that much. You just kind of just knew the surface of all of the things that you had read about. And during this time, I felt as though I had already, me and my ex had, split apart away from each other. And during this time, I started to focus a little bit on myself, but not to the most, to the highest degrees of focusing on myself. So as a year went by, I decided that, maybe I should just start looking out and trying to find a new person to talk to, or, try to see if I could vibe with somebody. And I ended up getting into a relationship the year after I had experienced everything that happened like a year before that. And in this relationship, everything was all great and good. And eventually, this relationship that I was in just started, it it didn't start declining or anything, but we ended up parting ways. It was until when we parted ways that our relationship with each other just felt pointless. And our breakup was just nasty. It was just very back and forth with each other. Now, also during this time, being with my mom, I wanted to get out of my mom's place. I needed to find on my own, because even though I was homeless in a city prior to moving back with my mom, I was living in my own space with my ex. Not the person that I'm talking about now, but I was living in a stable position. Now, pushing back forward, didn't want to live with my mom, then getting into a relationship and the relationship turning sour after the breakup or during the breakup period. And once this started to happen, more and more of the focus started becoming about why the relationship ended. And it wasn't towards me. And in the relationship, it still was more so about the relationship trying to work out. And it still wasn't focusing on my own self. And that's the pure message of it all. Blockages. That's the reason why your manifestations are not coming through the correct way. Whoever you believe in, if you believe in God, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, you have to understand that life is not built off of time. Everything that you asked for will eventually come. It's just not going to come a week down the line from when you tried to ask for it. So me living with my mom and wanting to be in the apartment and in my own living space that I always dreamed of, because all of the places that I had been into before wasn't really up to par, wasn't really like the greatest thing in the world. But I had a standard in my head because of all of the things that the law of attraction teaches you, is you could have anything that you want. And you put it in your head and you could always get that. It's just that it's not going to happen on like a month after or a year after. It will take time, because things, it's not on our time. Ultimately is what I'm trying to say. It's not on our time to discover or figure out when the things that we need to come into our lives. We have to break down our own selves in whatever we're going through. And this is the blockages. There's always the term of go with the flow. And that is a really true saying, but a lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes we put ourselves through points of our lives to where we're not letting the flow through us. We're just standing there and pushing against the current that's trying to push through us. And these blockages in my life were built around that relationship. So when I got into the new relationship and everything was focused on the relationship, and then after the relationship, when we broke up to each other, it was starting to focus still on why we were broken up together and all these kinds of things. And I wasn't fully letting go. I was still trying to take control of the narrative instead of taking control of my own life. And that's the problem when it comes to trying to manifest the things that you want, is you're trying to take so much control of everything that you need to start not taking control of things. Just let things just flow through you, and they will come back to you the right way that it needs to. So, pushing forward, I ended up getting focused on myself a little bit more, a lot more. Focused on myself. Me and this person that I had broken up with, we ended up going through more emotions, and suddenly I just started putting a little bit more attention to myself when I ended up getting into the apartment that I dreamed of. I was trying to get into an apartment the whole entire time because I didn't really want to stay with my mom. And it wasn't nothing against my mom or anything. It was just that I was older now. I didn't want to be around, my mom or anything. I felt as though I needed to step up and be a little bit mature and have the things that I needed for myself. And I love my mom dearly, but I just needed my own space. So right around the time I've fully got invested into living in the space that I am in now, in the current space that I'm in, me and the person that I had broke up with and focused all of my attention on started rekindling. And during the breakup period, it started to look as though we were never going to speak to each other again, or whatever. Like a lot of things just started becoming to where it just looked like nothing was going to change. And we are now actually back together again. So that's the whole key point, is when you focus on other things instead of yourself, that's how you're not able to manifest the things that you want in life. And you always have to put an extra step into trying to do for self and not for others around you. And now we're healthy, or in our relationship, we can talk about a lot of things that we couldn't before. And everything is still about self. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship or not, everything is still about self. You still have to work to do better for you and not the other way around. Because we are all individuals and we are all here for our own individual purposes. And we have to fulfill the things that we came here on planet Earth to do. And I'm here to tell you that all of the things that you've tried to ask for will come to you. Just don't block all of your blessings. You always hear the term blocking your blessings. And that statement is very true. You don't want to block things that you are looking for, and it's not your fault. It's you have to find out what it is that is blocking for you. And some cases, some people can't, get through certain things or get their blessings to them because there are other things that they have to take care of, or other people that they have to take care of in order to get these things to come to them. But I'm here to tell you that that is the exact reason why things aren't coming to you. It's blockages. Blockages are the number one key. And the best thing I could tell you out of this whole entire conversation is to always let things flow through you. Everything that you are trying to get into your life, you may not have the full control of it. And always be careful into how you speak into the universe. Be careful what you wish for. That is a true statement. Be careful for what you wish for, because those things can alter and manifest into your life. So when you're trying to ask for things, be concise, be clear, and understand that everything is not running on the time that you think that you have. And that is the message that I'm trying to portray for you. Make sure that you leave a like and a comment down below so we can discuss more in tune with all of this. And make sure that you subscribe and share this video to all of your friends so we can build a community on this moving forward initiative. It is about moving forward with every single thing in our lives. That's what this channel is about. And I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.